Hello, Kyle here. I am going to review Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. I think that with Doctor Strange, he's a character that I personally did not really grow up on. I knew the actual, character of Doctor Strange as like one of the Marvel heroes, but I never personally read any of the Doctor Strange comics until the first Doctor Strange movie came out. And when I saw that film, I really enjoyed that movie. I believe at the time it was actually one of my favorite MCU films. As time has progressed, I wouldn't say that I have liked it less, but I just feel like it is still a good film. I kind of wish the film had a little bit more color to it, and we get a little bit more of the color in the dream type sequence, the psychedelic type sequences in the film, which is great. But in the case of this film, I think that Sam Raimi, as the director, really added a whole new element to the movie of a lot of fun and a lot of horror that the first film didn't quite have. And I think that a lot of the scenes in this movie um, are a lot more memorable, I think, in the time that will go by compared to the first film. Now, with that being said, I think Scott Derrickson did a great job with the first movie, and I am also intrigued what his version of Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness would have been. But I really am happy that we did get Sam Raimi to come back, because he's directed my favorite Marvel films, the Spider-Man trilogy, so to have him return to the MCU and return to the Marvel Universe, I think was a great move and a smart decision by Kevin Feige and the people that work there. So I was thrilled when watching it. I mean, it has the horror elements to it. There are sequences ripped straight out of The Evil Dead. There are sequences where characters are completely annihilating other characters and murder and death, and it is very unlike, I think, other MCU movies, because there are moments in this film where you truly feel like the characters and the heroes are in danger. And I think that a lot of that is owed to the performances of the actors in the film. One of them is Benedict Cumberbatch as the lead Doctor Strange, and Benedict Cumberbatch is, I think, better than ever as Doctor Strange here. He really exudes this different personality that we've now come to know as Stephen Strange's personality, and he's sometimes a bit of a cynic. At other times, he's very, I think, amazed, but still operating within that doctor mindset. And he has a lot more, I think, the way that he personally assesses situations. I think Benedict does a great job of showing who Doctor Strange is. He manages his words very carefully. He manages his actions very carefully. And I think one of the cool scenes in this movie is his introduction as Doctor Strange at Christine's wedding. And he just does this move where it reminded me of like Sam Raimi Spider-Man, where like the hero suits up and then goes out to fight, and you have this iconic sequence where he jumps off the balcony and he gets his cloak of levitation, puts it on, and he's in costume. I thought it worked really, really well. The CGI is one of my criticisms for the film. A lot of times it looks good, but at other times, I don't know what it is, but it just doesn't look right. There's one sequence when Wong is like shot out of one portal and hits a car in the beginning of the film, and it looked very, very unfinished and wonky. The creature designs look great, specifically the creature known as Gargantos, the one-eyed creature you've seen in the trailers. He is a, I think, really cool-looking creature. I think that sometimes with the green screen, I think that that comes into play, and it becomes a bit of an issue, especially in these settings that are so fantastical and mystical. It just kind of, you're like, I don't know how I feel about the way it looks. I will also say another one of my criticisms with this film is the score by Danny Elfman. I think it's a okay score. It's a good score in a way, but I don't find it to be that memorable, especially coming out of Phase 4 of the MCU when we had some great composers like Lauren Balfe, Ramin Djawadi, Michael Giacchino. These composers came up with some great scores for their films: Eternals, Black Widow, Spider-Man No Way Home. And I just think that even though Danny Elfman, he is a great composer, I didn't really get a sense of this score is that memorable to me. Um, there aren't really many themes in the score aside from they have a little bit of Doctor Strange's theme that Michael Giacchino composed, and at other times you hear a little bit of Danny Elfman's theme for Scarlet Witch back in Age of Ultron. But aside from that, we don't really get, that quintessential theme that in Avengers or a Thor or Captain America you'll hear time and time again. I also think, of course, the first Doctor Strange score I thought was significantly better, especially with the theme. But going back to, I think, some positives, I do very much enjoy Elizabeth Olsen's performance. She's great in this. She really is quite terrifying as the Scarlet Witch. And she's also at the same time a character I think you can sympathize with. Going into a little bit of a criticism, I do kind of wish they explained a little bit more of her dilemma in the film without going into spoilers. If you've already seen the film, you definitely know what I'm talking about. But she kind of is in this state in the movie where you could say she's possessed by the Darkhold. And I kind of wanted a little bit more to understand the possession, because when you watch WandaVision going into this, WandaVision, I think, makes it quite clear that she is trying to do something heroic in that show, even though it might have been, gone through in the wrong way. She's trying to do something heroic. And here, it's not as well, I think, defended, but it's because, it's the Darkhold possessing her. I just wish that we got a little bit more with her in her situation, why she's doing this. But that could change on a rewatch. It could also change on depending what the future of her character lies in store, because I think a lot of the futures of these characters are quite questionable. I personally don't know what they're doing with Mordo, Chiwetel Ejiofor's character. They do not feature the Mordo from the first Doctor Strange in this movie. And it makes me wonder if, if that Mordo is going to appear in a different movie. I don't know if, they thought, okay, we'll have a different universe version of Mordo in this movie, and then maybe the next movie will bring the Mordo from the other universe, which is our MCU 616 universe that we're used to. But the Mordo at the end of the first Doctor Strange that says, "Too many sorcerers," he is not in this film. And I've had discussions with many people about this. I'm hoping that we see that play a part in the next Doctor Strange. But if we don't, I will be disappointed, because they did leave us hanging in the first Doctor Strange movie. And it was quite an enticing cliffhanger. Like, this wasn't something that no one cared about. I think a lot of people that walked out of the first Doctor Strange were like, ooh, I want to see what Mordo's up to. But the fact that we don't see that in this film, it's a little bit worrying to me, but we will find out. I thought that Xochitl Gomez was terrific as America Chavez. I thought that she really embodied the 15-year-old, or I believe she might be 14 in this movie, the 14-year-old type girl stuck in this universe. I feel like this might come into play with Miss Marvel and how Kamala acts in her TV series. But I think it was really cool to see how, another young kid interacts like, say, a Spider-Man or MJ or Ned. But I do I wish that, maybe in the future we do see not really a young Avengers, but we get to see the younger generation of the characters in this universe like meet each other, like a Kate Bishop. I think that would be fun. And yeah, like, I think Sam Raimi, he did a really good job in this movie. I think that the movie itself is very much a Sam Raimi film. I also really just like some of the themes explored, whether it's Doctor Strange's own feelings about his sister and how he must, save America. There's also a little element of, like, whether Doctor Strange is happy. They have a little reference to the snap and how, when half the world basically disappeared, this is Doctor Strange's fault. He's the one that gave the time stone to Thanos. So I like that little idea that is approached in the film, that everyone knows that he's the one that is responsible. He's also somewhat responsible for bringing the people back because of what he did. But still, it's like, okay, I can kind of see why, he would be looked down upon. He might not be as, he might be very careful with the decisions he makes. And then, what I do want to say, because this is a bit of a spoiler for the film, but I don't know if whoever was watching this video will mind, but you have the Illuminati in this film. And I really like the Illuminati. And in the Illuminati, you have Professor X, you have Mr. Fantastic, you have Captain Carter, Captain Marvel. I just really liked how they were used. I thought that John Krasinski made an excellent Reed Richards. I thought that it was fun seeing Black Bolt from the Inhumans in there. And I think that Haley Atwell should get her own Captain Carter movie, because I really, really liked her in it. I think that some people are kind of arguing about how they were used, and I actually thought they were used perfectly. I thought that they supported the story, they supported Wanda, they supported Doctor Strange, and they fit their purpose. And I'm just happy to see X-Men, Fantastic Four, and Inhumans and Avengers all together in like one movie. It truly feels like a Marvel movie now, because before they were kind of stuck with, the rights issues. But now, since everyone's under the same roof, we get to see these comic accurate type team ups. So I really like that. I hope that the next Doctor Strange movie is featuring Mordo in it, and I really hope that, it's a really good one. I am still loving the MCU. I am loving Phase 4 so far. And honestly, I can't wait for Thor, Love and Thunder, Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. And yeah, so I highly recommend seeing Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. If I had to give it a score, I'd probably give it like around an 8 or so, 8 out of 10. But I think that if you watch it, you will enjoy the film. So thank you so much for watching, and have a great day.